Dear friends, with hearts stirred by the call of service and spiritual transformation, we turn our attention to a message of immense relevance and beauty, the 19 March 2025 letter from the Universal House of Justice. This is a message that speaks to something deeply familiar yet universally profound, the family. But it does not approach the family from the lens of tradition or convention. Rather, it raises our vision and expands our understanding, revealing the family as a sacred trust, a cornerstone of civilization, and a primary instrument for releasing the society building power of the Baha'i faith. In the opening of the message, the House of Justice reminds us that the flourishing Baha'i communities being built around the world have profound implications for the family. It is within the family that the individual is born, shaped, and first learns a domestic unit. It is the foundational structure of human life, the building block of society itself. Its influence extends beyond personal relationships into the moral and spiritual condition of neighborhoods, nations, and civilizations. A family is a nation in miniature. Abdul Baha surround the nation. These words are not metaphorical, they are diagnostic. They challenge us to look inward before looking outward, to see that a just, peaceful society begins with a just and loving home. The second paragraph invites us to reflect on the historical evolution of family life. As human society has progressed, so too has the form and function of the family. Certain patterns that were once beneficial now obstruct unity. Parental expectations, once suitable in a previous era, may hinder children's growth in today's world. Strong kinship ties that preserved identity in one stage of human development may now delay the emergence of broader social harmony. Most significantly, rigid gender roles that were once seen as stabilizing may now stand in the way of equality and the full participation of women in the life of humanity. Abdu'l Baha calls on us to reevaluate the models of the past and to imbue ourselves with new virtues and powers, new moral standards, new capacities. The message affirms that we are no longer in the adolescence of humanity. We have entered the age of maturity, and this requires a conscious effort to re examine the structures, norms, and expectations within our homes. In the third paragraph, we are reminded with humility that we cannot yet fully describe what family life will look like in the fullness of Baha'u'llah's dispensation. The divine teachings are vast, and their implementation is progressive. Different societies face different pressures, and the forces that undermine family life take many forms. And yet, even in this early stage, we are not without guidance. As the Baha'i world increases in spiritual insight and practical capacity through service, study, consultation, and reflection, new insights will emerge. A new pattern of life is being born not through theoretical models, but through the lived experiences of families who strive to apply the teachings to daily reality. The fourth paragraph presents us with a series of questions, not as an academic exercise, but as spiritual imperatives. What defines a Baha'i family? How does Baha'i marriage differ not only in form, but in the spirit it nurtures? How can families contribute not only to their own well being, but to the spiritual health of entire communities? And what prevents families from doing so? Are there inherited cultural norms or societal influences that distort our understanding of gender, consultation, or authority within the home? The House of Justice then asks us to consider how the framework for action that defines our age, the sequence of institute courses, cycles of activity, accompaniment, and reflection, offers not only tools for community building, but nourishment and structure for the family itself. This is not an abstract challenge. It is an invitation to transform family life into an engine of spiritual and social change. With the fifth paragraph, our focus narrows to the sacred bond of marriage. Baha'u'llah calls marriage the inscrutable instrument for the fulfillment of humanity's destiny. This powerful phrase elevates marriage far beyond companionship or cultural expectation. It places it at the very heart of civilization building. Abdul Baha explains that Baha'i marriage is a union of mind and heart, a bond in which two souls commit not only to each other's happiness, but to each other's spiritual growth and service to humanity. It is a commitment that transcends mere compatibility or convenience. In its truest form, Baha'i marriage is a mutual pledge to walk together on the path of God, assisting one another in fulfilling the twofold moral purpose of life, to develop our inner potential and to contribute to the betterment of the world. The quality of this union ripples outward, influencing the education of children, the tone of the home, and the nature of community relationships. This marriage becomes a living source of strength, renewal, and transformation, shaping the moral character of generations to come. In the sixth paragraph, the House of Justice draws a contrast between the Baha'i vision of marriage and the two dominant tendencies in the world today. In some societies, permissiveness has fragmented the essential components of marriage: love, intimacy, fidelity, child rearing, treating them as optional and separate. In others, regressive norms have exaggerated or distorted individual elements, turning marriage into a tool of hierarchy or repression. Baha'i teachings offer a distinct alternative, one that integrates all aspects of marriage in harmony: love, equality, companionship, spiritual growth, and the bearing and raising of children are not competing features but complementary threads in the sacred fabric of the marital bond. Central to this model is the equality of women and men. As husbands and wives live out this equality in prayer, consultation, and shared responsibility, they give rise to a new social pattern, one in which the family becomes a training ground for justice. Children raised in such families will inherit a worldview in which power is redefined as mutual service and leadership is understood as moral example. The seventh paragraph builds on this vision by underscoring the importance of justice and reciprocity in family life. In the Baha'i family, each member, regardless of age or role, is regarded as a noble soul with rights and responsibilities. Authority is not domination. Obedience is not blind submission. The family must be, as Abdul Baha affirms, educated according to the rules of sanctity. This sacredness is expressed in how family members speak to one another, how decisions are made, how mistakes are handled, and how love is demonstrated. The spiritual atmosphere of the home is not a luxury, it is essential. The family becomes a workshop of spiritual development, a place where virtues such as patience, generosity, discipline, and humility are not only taught, but practiced, refined, and rewarded. In the eighth paragraph, the message speaks directly to the evolving roles of husband and wife. It affirms the foundational Baha'i principle that neither is subordinate to the other. Instead, both partners consult, serve, and sacrifice together in equal measure. While acknowledging that the mother is the first educator of the child and emphasizing her critical spiritual influence, the father is not absolved of his educational or nurturing responsibilities. The message makes clear that the division of roles in the family is not rigid. Each couple, through prayer and consultation, must determine how best to fulfill their collective obligations based on their individual capacities and circumstances. What matters most is that the family advances together, ensuring that each member, wife, husband, child, is supported in their intellectual, spiritual, and professional development. Unity, not uniformity, is the guiding principle. The 9th paragraph turns our attention to the sacred duty of educating children. This is not limited to academic instruction or moral reminders. It is the formation of character, the awakening of the soul, and the cultivation of spiritual purpose. The message offers a rich portrait of the stages of childhood and youth. From the earliest years, children must be nurtured to love God, to recite His words, to prefer others before themselves, and to reflect spiritual qualities in their daily behavior. As they grow, they must be helped to acquire resilience, self-discipline, and a sense of personal accountability. They are to be educated in both the sciences and the spirit, to develop a capacity for consultation, to arise in service, and to walk a path of contribution. This is a lifelong process requiring wisdom, creativity, and patience from the parents. The Training Institute supports this process, but it does not replace it. The responsibility remains with the parents, guided by the writings, strengthened by community, and illuminated by love. As children mature, their relationships within the family transform. In the 10th paragraph, we are reminded that the bonds among siblings, if nurtured with kindness and unity, become a lifelong source of strength. The relationship between parents and adult children also evolves. Parents must gradually shift from directive authority to respectful counsel. Children, while growing in independence, continue to honor and care for their parents. In time, they may even reverse roles, supporting those who once supported them. This dynamic, this rhythm of growth, release, and return, is a sacred choreography marked by mutual trust and enduring affection. It exemplifies how love, when anchored in spiritual principle, is not diminished by change, but deepened by it. The 11th paragraph broadens our view to include the extended family and the larger Baha'i community. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins are not peripheral. They are part of the intricate tapestry of relationships that support the family's noble mission. But the circle widens further. In vibrant Baha'i communities, elders offer guidance, youth mentor children, and friends become spiritual aunts and uncles. This is not symbolic language, it is practical and real. The Baha'i community is a family of families. It is in this setting that the conditions are created for every soul to feel seen, uplifted, and engaged. The family then is not isolated. It is strengthened and extended through loving relationships woven into the life of the community. Attention to material life is not excluded from this vision. In the 12th paragraph, the message addresses the importance of financial consultation within the family. Money is not a taboo subject. Rather, it is a practical concern with profound spiritual implications. Families are called to consult together, husbands, wives, and even children when appropriate, on how wealth is earned, spent, saved, and contributed. Through this, children learn responsibility, detachment, and generosity. The obligation of huquq'ullah is observed with reverence. The family learns to distinguish between needs and wants, and to align its material life with its spiritual aspirations. In this way, the management of wealth becomes an act of worship, an expression of trust in God, and a training ground for stewardship. The 13th paragraph returns to the outward-facing dimension of family life. The values practiced within the home must be brought into the world: equality of the sexes, unity in diversity, the investigation of truth, the harmony of science and religion. These are not only topics for discussion, they must be demonstrated in the life of the family. Children who grow up in homes that embody these principles will move into the world equipped to be builders of unity. They will resist prejudice, seek knowledge, consult constructively, and serve selflessly. The family, therefore, becomes a point of entry into the greater work of social transformation. It does not simply reflect the world, it recreates it. The 14th paragraph warns us of the forces that oppose this path. The forces of disintegration are real and relentless. They attack families through materialism, spiritual indifference, violence, and confusion. They promote ideologies that sow division and identities that isolate rather than unify. They seduce with distraction and paralyze with despair. The family must be a bulwark, a place of clarity, protection, and strength. This does not mean insulation from the world, but preparation to meet it with discernment, courage, and faith. It requires vigilance, prayer, and ongoing effort, and it requires the support of the entire community to guard against these forces and to strengthen what is sacred. The 15th paragraph invites us to contemplate the sacred power of the Baha'i home. This is no ordinary vision of domestic life. The home, when shaped by the teachings of Baha'u'llah and animated by the spirit of service, becomes a unique and irreplaceable social space, a vital force within the process of community building. In such a home, we find not only shelter and rest, but the daily expression of spiritual vitality. It becomes a sanctuary where hearts are uplifted by prayer, where bonds of love are continually reinforced by mutual encouragement, and where the very atmosphere is infused with purpose. In these homes, families do more than coexist. They strive together toward the common goal of transformation. Each member, regardless of age or role, becomes a protagonist in the divine plan. In the Baha'i home, warm hospitality meets spiritual quickening. Such homes naturally extend themselves outward, offering devotional gatherings, children's classes, or simply a spirit of welcome that becomes an invitation to others to draw near to the light of the faith. Across the world today, we see examples of this unfolding. In neighborhoods and villages, families are opening their homes not only to support activities, but to model a new way of life, a life built not on competition or consumption, but on love, trust, prayer, and service. The example of such a home speaks louder than words. It becomes a living proof that a different kind of life is possible. The 16th paragraph explores a concept of central importance to the Baha'i life: coherence. Just as individuals are called to live a coherent life of service, so too are families. A coherent family life is one in which the demands of daily living, education, finances, household responsibilities, social duties, are not in conflict with service to the cause, but are integrated into it. Such a life does not eliminate sacrifice. Rather, it embraces it, understanding that sacrifice, in the Baha'i sense, means to relinquish the lesser for the greater. And yet, the message offers a profound reminder. It is not the family that is to be sacrificed. Rather, it is the family, united in faith and fortified by love, that enables greater sacrifice in the path of God. There will be times, the message acknowledges, when new possibilities for service present themselves. Opportunities that are demanding, that require relocation, new commitments, or substantial reorganization of one's life. At such times, the family is not a constraint. It is a source of strength. the bonds of mutual support, the shared vision of service, the clarity of spiritual purpose, these become the means by which such opportunities are embraced. When families are aligned in their devotion to Baha'u'llah, and when decisions are made through heartfelt consultation and prayer, the path becomes clear. Each member, while facing challenges, becomes a contributor to a shared sacred endeavor. In this way, the family becomes not a retreat from service, but the launch pad for greater acts of love and transformation. Finally, in the 17th paragraph, the House of Justice offers not only guidance, but praise and encouragement. Looking upon the progress of the 9-year plan, it expresses awe and deep appreciation for the tireless, sacrificial efforts of the friends around the world. Across every culture, in cities and villages, amidst hardship and adversity, the Baha'is are striving with steadfastness and joy to release the society-building power of the faith. Families are not merely participants. They are indispensable agents in the great drama of spiritual and social transformation. Every home, every marriage, every act of love, consultation, and education within the family contributes to the broader process of constructing a divine civilization. And so we are left with a radiant vision, words attributed to Abdul Baha that now echo with new clarity. My home is the home of peace. My home is the home of joy and delight. My home is the home of laughter and exultation. Whosoever enters through the portals of this home must go out with gladsome heart. This is the home of light. Whosoever enters here must become illumined. Dear friends, may our homes be such havens. May they be places where love reigns, where justice is lived, where children grow in faith, and where the light of Baha'u'llah's teachings shines forth. Let us go forward inspired, ready to nurture our families not only for their own sake, but for the healing of a waiting world. Thank you.